I think the real core danger that we're having in California is things that used to shock us are now becoming normalized. This spike in homelessness, spike in increased severity of mental illness in people living on homeless, and increasingly the policymakers are asking us to just accept that that's normal.
California, being the richest state in the country with a total of 12% of the U.S. population, still has half of its state population living on the streets. The number of homeless people in California has increased by 40% in the last 5 years, according to the U.S. Department of Housing. However, $12 billion was committed to address homelessness over the next 2 years in the 2021 state budget. In actual sense, each person would receive $75,000, since the state population is over 160,000 people, in order to address this issue. But still, the money hasn't been solved even halfway of this humanitarian crisis. And that leaves so many questions to the people of the state. In this video, we are going to share with you some of the reasons as to why California has a rising number of homeless people and how the government is accounting for this state problem. Adequate funds has failed to solve the problem due to the publicly funded housing project targeted for the homeless being so expensive. Building a single home for a homeless is worth $530,000 on average, which is much more expensive compared to the rising numbers of people on the streets in neighborhoods, such as Skid Row and along Venice Beach in the Santa Monica Pier. These might seem expensive, but still not enough for the builders who receive the public funds because they are expected to pay their own workers, expand house balcony space, and install panels, among others. Builders are required to also meet the state permits and requirements, which is also much more costly, hence delay in the construction process. According to the Los Angeles Times, the cost of one homeless housing project went up to $746,000, and that amount could buy a house like that in Los Angeles. In December 2016, Elvis Summers crowdfunded $100,000 to build dozens of tiny homes, but still, the state officials shut this local musician down. The tiny homes were seized, and the city officials promised to pass a $2 billion housing plan. This couldn't have caused the rising numbers of homeless people up to date if the city officials supported his idea. By providing land to pursue his missions, hopefully, this would have reduced the number of people residing on the streets today. The increased number of mentally ill patients who keep loitering on the streets is becoming a new normal in California. Almost half of the people in jails are drug addicts and mentally ill. The failure to build more health facilities and prisons, which quickly get filled up, is causing a lot of these people to reside on streets. This all falls in hands of the city officials, because however much they build treatment facilities without sustainable systems, the ill people will still be dysfunctional out of the treatment institutions to the streets, giving a bad image to the state policies. According to recent media reports, high housing costs have resulted in more people living in vehicles. As rents have increased, people decide to sleep in their cars, and large families camp on the streets. And this had decreased nationwide, except in some states like California, where the number of people without homes is rising each and every day. How should the government account for this? Does this state problem account for the reason why people are living? The most practical approach or solution is to increase housing construction so that the prices lower a bit due to increased supply, and this will solve the problem of some people being homeless because of the high rents. In addition, Governor Gavin Newsom previously signed laws that could impact the state's problems. According to the newly signed laws, the governor mainly aimed to increase the supply of housing. The ending of single-family home zoning, according to the SB 9 law, will enable Californians to convert their homes up to 4 units. Giving back some private property rights to homeowners in California to build on their land will much reduce homelessness in the state, as the rent prices will also lower down. Besides the government's way forwards, what measures would you think should be done to reduce homelessness in California? Share your thoughts and observations in the comment section. See you in the next video.